And now let's move on to the last example. On the last example, we're going to start using the summation notation. The summation notation, even though it looks complex, it's an easy concept. In this case, when they give you the summation notation, the great thing is that they give you the end term, they give you the equation, and they're telling you that you need to plug in a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, up to the number 5, and add the numbers. So let's do it up here. If we're going to simplify this, it will be 3, but instead of that, we're first going to plug in a 1, and we're going to add it. Then we're going to plug in a 2, and we're going to add it. Then we're going to plug in a 3, and we're going to add it. Then we plug in a 4, and last we're going to plug in a 5. We're going to plug in a 4, and then lastly we're going to plug in a 5. We are going to simplify, and we're going to add up those numbers. That's what this means. So for example, number 8, we're going to plug in a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're going to add up those numbers. But instead of doing that, because as you guys can tell on letter B, it gets pretty big, or if I give you guys from 1 to 50, that'll be a long problem. So it is important that you follow the formula and that you use the formula. So let's go through example number 1, or number 8. Find the sum. If they ask you to find the sum, we have to use the sum formula. So the sum, in this case, this represents the n value. How many numbers you need to add up? So that's 10 is equal to n, a sub 1 plus a sub n divided by 2. And the value of n is 10. Right? So we need to be able to find the first term and the 10th term. How many numbers do we need to add up? The value of n is 10. So let's start substituting the information. N is 10. That's how many numbers we need to add up. We're looking for the first term and the last term. It's not given to us, so we need to be able to find it. Now, the great thing about this is that they give you the equation. They give you the n term. So we need to be able to find a sub 1, and we also need to be able to find a sub 10. We need to find the first term, the last term. We're going to divide by 2 and multiply by how many numbers we have. That'll give us 3 plus 1. Remember, the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my equation, 3n plus 1, but instead of the n, I'm going to plug in a 1 to find the first term, and instead of the n, I'm going to plug in a 10 to find the 10th term. That'll give me 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So a sub 1 is equal to 4. A sub 10 is equal to 31. And now I just simplify. The sum of the first 10 terms will be 10. This gives me 35 divided by 2. You can do 35 divided by 2, or I can place this over 1 and I cross simplify. Divide by 2, that gives me 5. So 5 times 35. 5 times 30 is 150. 5 times 5 is 25, so that gives me 175. Notice that this, even though this is a new notation, this is a much easier problem. Let's go through letter B. Same process. I need to be able to find the sum. So let's go and write down the formula. The sum of how many terms do I need to add up? Of the first 18 terms. The formula is n, a sub 1 plus a sub, how many, which is the last term? The 18th number, divided by 2. So the sum of the first 18 terms, let's plug in the information that we have, will be n is how many numbers do we need to add up? Remember, this is the value of n. Some of you guys are getting confused with 1. This is one number you start with, and this is one number you end up with. So n is 18. We look for the first number, we don't have it. The last number, we don't have it, divided by 2. So I need to be able to find the first and last number. But it's an easy process. Find a sub 1 and find a sub 18. Because they give you guys the n term or the equation, we can just plug it in. There'll be 14 minus 6, but instead of the n, we'll plug in a 1 to find the first term. 14 minus 6, but instead of the n, we'll plug in an 18 to find in the 18th term. And we just simplify. 14 minus 6, the first term will be 8. The last term will be 14 minus 6 times 10 is 60, plus 48 is 108. And that gives you negative 94. So the last term, which is the 18th term, will be negative 94. And now we just simplify. The sum of the first 18 term will be 18. 8 minus 94 will give me negative 86. Divided by 2. 18 terms will be 18. That gives me negative 43. And when we multiply 18 times 43, that'll be negative 774. This is your answer. That'll be the sum of the first 18 numbers. So this will conclude the lesson for today. Please email me if you have any questions, and have a great day.